And we always push to use the info screen. One thing to know is that as you have the MUR system, you can create as many info screens and user accounts as necessary. That's not restricted by the license model. The license only is set by the number of machines you measure on, but you can create as many info screens as you like. But we created the info screen intended to be an unmanned tool to auto start and to be able to, you can walk past it and just look at it quickly and see the status of the machine. But you can also use it as a personal report tool to create your own reports. And so let me show you a typical info screen here, like this. I'm going to go through the components and see how they work. But first of all, when you have an info screen like this, you can always go into edit mode and move items, or right click and edit to change, for example, what machine is being reported, like this. Once you have done your changes, you can choose to export them into a backup file. And when you export, you can build several different info screens and export them to one file each. And once you have done that, you can use the import feature to load them back. And the info screens are always freshly updated. So you're only exporting and importing the layout, the design you made yourself. The data is always calculated live once shown. One good thing to know also about the info screen is, for example, we're looking here below. Here we have morning and afternoon, and it says 0. We don't have any data here, and you might wonder why. So one good advice is to go into edit mode, and then you get more information here. For example, no shifts for the current machine and interval. So in this case, let's look at the settings. We have no shifts selected. Let's choose all shifts. We can fix it that way. Another reason why this might be, why you get this exact error message, let's see, it says no shifts in current machine and interval. It could be that in this case the afternoon might not have happened yet because we're still in the morning before lunch. So in that case there's nothing to worry about. But let's just check the settings here. We have the source data, we have no shifts. Let's check all shifts and we're good to go. Just a summary, I'm just not going to go into detail. I'm just going to quickly summarize what you see here. You have the status line showing, in this case, a week, but you can select to show a day, a week, and you can also choose to show last week or the current week. And to choose the interval, we right click, choose edit, and go into interval. And usually you have an interval type. This one says follows weekly, and usually with the info screen you want to have one type that follows, meaning you show today's date, today's report data, or yesterday's report data, or this week. And follows daily means that you will show always today's or always yesterday's. If you choose follows weekly, usually you should select this week or last week. But follows weekly can also be used for weekdays. For example, if I choose follows weekly and pick Monday, it will always show a report for this Monday. So let's save and see the results. Changes. So now it's this Monday, the 25th. The same ability, instead of showing status line, you want to show summary, and that's what we see in the rest of the items below here. We can show the runtime as in hour minutes, or runtime in percentage of time. You can show pie charts for the same value, or you can show pie charts showing what are the other time that's not running, for example stop and repairs, so on. And if you want to get more details, you can show to the right here, you see is shown in hours, minutes, or in percentages. And this can also be done with a counter value. We have a high number here, which can be shown as the total over the day or the week, the rate, how fast they appear, the count there is, what speed the machine is running, and that you can customize to show. Let's see, if you go into settings, you have rate, and then you can choose per second, per minute, or per hour. So if we change it to second, the number would be much lower, 4.3 per second. And the same way, we can modify the last one, which is, instead of choosing rate, we choose cycle time, and then cycle time per second, so it's 0.6 a second. To make sure these are reflecting the same value, I think we need to show per runtime. And the last, we have the live information here. We have two machines. This one shows for the machine next to me, showing missing stuff. And whenever machine starts running, you get running like this, or unknown stop, you can enter another stop code like this. And as you just saw now for setup, you got this counter showing here, and that's what we call the status alarm. So to create a new item like this, you make a selection and choose status time alarm. But the reason it also started counting now is because, let's check the settings. We have configured here that the setup is only expected to take a certain time. If it takes more than, in this case, 15 seconds, it will show a yellow warning. And if it goes past 1 minute, 30 seconds, we'll get this red warning instead, which, let's change that to 1 minute. So when it goes past 60 seconds, that's when it changes to red. So this way you can have an overview of all machines, but also on the time they have been standing still on each stop. So that was a quick walkthrough. If you're going to edit info screens, your user account need a permission to edit info screens. So if you don't see the edit button, ask the administrator to give you permission to edit info screens. And to create new components, you find an empty area, drag a selection, and when you drop, you get the option on what items to add. And you can modify, you can drag and resize them by dragging the edges like this. And you can right click to get more options, but usually to edit is double click, so I don't need to right click, I can just double click an item like this to get into the options.